Hello and welcome to today's webinar. My name is Tim Probert. I'm the editor of Personal Care magazine. Today we'll be hearing from Coptis. Coptis has provided advanced software solutions for the cosmetic industry for 25 years and has offices in France, the United States, and Singapore. Its signature software, Coptis Lab PLM, is a purpose-designed cosmetic formulation and regulatory system. Coptis Lab PLM manages product development and global compliance of cosmetic formulations in their entirety, from marketing brief to regulatory filing. Coptis Lab PLM users include Shiseido, Clarins, and many, many more. So moving on to today's webinar, we're going to talk about the ever more complex task for formulators that lies in the imperative to create high-performing products that prioritize sustainability throughout their entire life cycle. This comes from the conscious beauty trend and also from the regulatory landscape, such as the EU Green Deal with its ambition for a toxic-free, carbon-neutral environment. Clearly, these place high expectations on the beauty industry to contribute towards a greener future. So, how to develop transparent products and ensure compliance with key retailers, geographic regulations, and consumer certification standards. That is the subject of today's presentation by Flora Ponce, Coptis Head of Sales for Europe. Flora holds a degree in bioengineering, a master's degree in innovation management, and has over a decade of industry experience. Today, Flora will demonstrate how a successful digital transformation of the modern laboratory is key to solve complex product development challenges. Just as a reminder, there's a Q&A session at the end, so please pop your questions to Flora in the questions box in your control panel. And over to you, Flora.
Welcome to this webinar. Today we will discuss how a digital solution can help you to develop sustainable cosmetic formulation. We will see a lot of first definition, but then we will quickly move to the software and see how functionalities can assist you while you are developing more conscious products. So for the agenda of today, we will first revise some challenges during cosmetic development that you may face at the different stages. And along that, we will also revise the definition of eco-design, what is behind this term and what does it mean for you, what should be you be careful of while developing and choosing and sourcing ingredients, but as well packaging and every data that you should manage. So obviously, I'm going to also introduce our solution, Coptis Lab, and how digitalizing the data you have in the laboratory will help you to first obviously centralize your data, but also will help you to automatize a lot of different tasks, especially in the days where customers are asking for more, as well as the regulation. So it's a lot of parameters that you must handle. And I'm happy to do this presentation. I will talk a lot at first, present all the different slides I have today, but then we will have a time to discuss together and to revise your questions. So please do not hesitate while I'm talking to share the question, and we will have a time to discuss at the end. Right. Cosmetic development. I'm sure you know there are many stages, many steps, and might be also different teams, many people, really depending on the size of your company. The start of a cosmetic development would be a marketing brief. So you will receive the claims, what you should follow, and then, or what we are expecting, obviously, from the product. And then it might go to the formulation where you will design the product, you will source the ingredient, you will pick the right active substance you need for that formula. And obviously, when everything's come together, you will test it on a stability test, challenge test, but also you will challenge it regarding the regulatory affairs and if it's compliant or not. And at the end of the day, but I'm sure it's taking more than one day, you will have maybe a formula with specifications that has follow all the claims that the marketing brief has defined, that is compliant, that is safe to use, and the product will be validated. So then it can go on the market, or it can be at least produced and then go on the market. Uh, it's a really short resume of all the steps that you are going to go through to develop your cosmetic products. And obviously, in each step, you will manage a lot of data. So either that's information that you are managing right now on Excel spreadsheets, or you already have a system in place, or maybe you are using Coptis Lab and you are wondering how it can help you for eco design. But today, you definitely have a lot of data to manage, and you already have a lot in your plate to manage just only the innovation process. But obviously, today we are adding more because the market is asking more, the compliance is changing and evolving. So now, at the end of the day, it's not only the innovation process to handle, but it's also the customer needs. It's as well the certificate for the origin or the traceability. You need to ensure the safety, the durability of your product. You need to be uh, compliant with the law for sure on each market. And in top of that, as I said, you still need to innovate. So that is a lot to handle. And all these new criteria that we need to respect in terms of developing a new product, but also having something conscious would be, I would say, resumed in one term that we will define today, which is called the eco design. Actually, we can have the definition right now on this slide, where eco design is actually the integration of environmental aspects into development of products with the aim of reducing the negative impact on the environment through the life cycle of a product, while obviously you want to maintain its quality of use. And we have seen many labels that tends to show at least one part of the eco design that could be the traceability, that could be the origin, that could be also about the biodiversity, all these kind of information that now the customers are asking more and more. We can actually look at numbers regarding eco design. For instance, now if we look at the searches the customers are making on internet, they are on average 38,000 to look for sustainable soap each month, which is plus 36% growth year after year. Same thing for the sustainable sunscreen, where the month average search is around 6,000. It's a plus 32% increase in terms of search. And also regarding the clean beauty, where you have 32,000 searches every month, which is a plus 13% increase. And these data are coming from 2022, so I'm sure 2024 is going to be even stronger than that. And they are looking for environmentally friendly sunscreen, clean beauty. We can see best clean beauty brands, Credo Clean Beauty, what kind of other terms we might have, zero waste. So these are the terms that are really strong today, the zero waste, non-toxic, biodegradable, eco-friendly. But obviously, when you have a product with maybe 20 or 30 ingredients in it, it's even more data to manage. And the manufacturers of ingredients are working more and more to share this information. We are definitely progressing in terms of traceability, but at the end of the day, it still means that you need to have a space to manage this data and a space where it's easy to find the information, especially when you are going to create your formula, because you also need to focus on the final product and how it will look and how it will react in the packaging, and is it safe to use, and all the other parameters that you need to check in top of what we have just discussed regarding the co-design. So I'm sure you already have a lot in mind and a lot of data to already manage. So we can just add that the customers, they also want what they call the clean beauty, even though if we don't really have a real definition about this concept, I would say, but at least they want something that is chemical free, no GMO, no pesticides, natural ingredient, preferably that is handmade, cruelty free. So Again, this is a checklist that the customers want to have when they select a product. So again, even more data to manage. So I think you get my point. Definitely wanted to highlight some data that we need to manage regarding all the different ingredients we source, and we definitely need a place where we can store the data, and also we need tools to export this information. Today, we don't have a law, specific law that would define what is a score, like a A score or D score, to a product regarding the eco design or the conscious beauty or clean beauty. But what is for sure is that we need to manage this data. We need to have this store, and we need a way to evaluate our product. And to do that, we need to be able to access this information. So let me show you what we propose at Coptis and how you could handle this kind of data around your product development. And the solution we propose is actually one software and three databases. I will explain it all, but basically you have one software to manage all of your data. And in top of this software that contains all the functionalities, you can access databases which are called ingredients, red, and tox, the one you see on the screen right now, and they are available to access like libraries to access data. It means you could use the software without it, or you can use them so you can easily access information. But now, regarding the software and the data you can manage thanks to the different functionalities, we are really going to focus on the lab product, which is so the software. And so the software helps to manage at different stages. As your development process is on different stages, well, the software is divided in different modules. So first you have the raw material modules that contains any information regarding your ingredients, could be technical data, MSDS, Inky breakdown, prices, stocks, and more. Obviously, we will focus on what kind of data we can manage specifically in the manner of managing sustainable information. We obviously have a formulation module to help you manage your different product, to develop new formula, to have direct alerts, direct calculation, and to be able to export data on your product and produce documentation regarding the final cosmetic you are developing. So thanks to all these different functionalities and screens, you can also manage regulation to have, again, automatic alerts to calculate the different traces, to calculate the allergens, to have inky lists and all these kind of data you definitely need on your cosmetic developments. Um, and in top of that, obviously, you can also manage quality control, testing, and packaging data. So it should be one system to manage everything from the marketing brief to the production. We are developing R&D software, and that's why we are so much focusing on all the criteria that you need to manage in all the different fields that you will need to fill on your product. So we are really specialized on the R&D stages, and we have been developing actually system like actually Coptis Lab for 25 years this year, so very specific year for us, by the way. Um, right, so now let's be very specific and let me show you how it works and what kind of data we can see. And we will start first with ingredients and the data you can manage. So when I talk about ingredients, I'm actually talking about commercial raw materials, commercialized raw material, if that makes sense. So it comes with a trade name and a manufacturer and one or different suppliers. So for sure, you can manage the trade name it has and also the suppliers and manufacturers, and you can have alternatives. But in top of that, we can definitely manage a lot of information. But for sure, you will need to manage lots of information. And the information you are going to manage would be about the origin, the certifications, what was the manufacturing process, how to dispose from it, what is the raw material source, is there any toxicity, what is the carbon footprint of using these ingredients. So these are some of the data you might need to manage on your ingredients. So when it comes to the information of your ingredients, one of the most important would be the inky breakdown. So obviously that's something we can manage in the system. We are going to assist you while we provide inky lists for the different zones. So it could be causing, PC, ECIC, sorry. So these are the list we have and that you can use, and then you will be able to enter the inky breakdown of your ingredients, or we can provide it if needed. We can also look at the carbon footprint that can be added per ingredient, and that will be calculated on the formula, but I will show you later on. In top of that, we can also create warnings, and this is something you can definitely customize depending on what you are looking for and what you are interested in when you develop your formula. Do you want to look at organic product and you want to develop Cosmos certified formula, or EcoCert or ISO 16128, or anything else, if you want to develop something that is uh, for baby purpose, or that does not contain allergens, you could create any warning, definitely. We can also enter toxicity information, so any safety assessment that has been made on the ingredients could be added to the raw material. It could concern like the animal testing. It could be also about the biodegradability, or again, it could be about the safety. It could be the test that has been performed on the ingredient, but it could also be data about the inky, sorry, it contains. So that's information we can manage when it comes to the evaluation of a toxicological profile or calculating the merge of safety. That's also something you can manage in the system. So we are just seeing some examples or extract of the screens that we have in the raw material module here. And so we definitely have a screen dedicated to the nature and origin of the ingredients. And some of the fields would be about, well, the main origin, if it's like from a plant or if it's synthetic. And then you can definitely go deeper into the presentation, saying what is the botanical or the plant that was used, from which country is coming from. It could be different countries. What is the manufacturing process, and how it was produced. And I'm sure we will go further on that topic. Maybe one day we will know exactly where it's coming from and how it was extracted. We could add even more data, and definitely that's something we discuss all the time with our customers to make it evolve and have more and more fields, as you need to have more and more information on your product. So these are some examples about the ingredients. Definitely happy to dig into much more detail, but at least these are main information we could manage on raw materials. Now we can look at packaging, and same thing, we might need to know about the material composition, the chemical categories, how it was processed, how to dispose. So again, these are information we can add. We can create warnings. We can add information about nature and origin. We can add data about the composition. Uh, so definitely here, these are examples, but again, these are fields that you can fill in about your packaging. So it could be a mixture, it could be a packaging that has been developed for a manufacturer, but whatever, because that's something you can definitely customize depending on who are your suppliers and what kind of packaging you are purchasing. Could be only glass, could be mixture of plastics and adjuvants. So then again, it's a place to enter your own data. And what is important then is that you can make searches and you can look for this information. So for you, it's easy. Like you have a specific brand where you just develop products that you are going to pack in glass. So in that case, you would like to make a search, like show me all the packaging that are 100% made of glass, and then the system can propose you the adequate packaging. So that's why we also propose search module that helps to select multiple criterias, to manage your several databases, and also to make quick searches if you have quick access, like you just have the raw material code or the packaging code, and it helps to make a quick search. But other than that, you can definitely go for an advanced search and select your criteria. Once again, you can look for certain properties, you can look for certain quality regarding either ingredients, formulas, finished products, packaging, and then the system will help making filter results, and you could directly access well the thing you are looking for. So either it's an ingredients or the formula, but you could also serve your search, so you can make the same search, sorry, in the future, or you could also extract the data into files. So if you want to share with other people from other teams, for instance. So these are also something that is really important. It's not only a place to store data, but it's also a place to manage information and to be able to access information. So when the formulator is accessing the software, it can easily look for an ingredient with particular qualities, and also to make sure like he has this or she has this checklist, and he can make sure that all the data are in hand, and we are consciously developing formula with all the right criteria, and that we are not going to develop something and at the end of the day we realize, oh, we shouldn't have used these ingredients, and now everything is to be made again because the results will be different, the challenge test results will be different. We need to check the regulation again. So we want to anticipate um, at its maximum is possible. So that's why it's also very important that we have this search module. So that is for ingredients, packaging, and searches. Now let's move to formula. Right, so how to develop green formulation, and again, same thing, what is very important is to have all the data in hand. So for instance, we could easily calculate the ISO 16128 of a formula because easily the system will put all the data together regarding the different ingredients you are using, and then the percentages of each natural content, origin content, and so on. So at the end, it can produce this kind of document where it will calculate the final components, and also see if it's compliant with ISO 16128. So this is one example of how it can help you on the formula and the origin certification and calculation. So this is one part. Obviously, it's only about the ISO 16128, and we can definitely go further than that. If we look, sorry, at a formula, for instance, we have here a screen where we can see all the different ingredients. So they come with a trade name here, and each trade name will have, then you can work either in percentage or quantity, and it will calculate then the inky breakdown of your formula. And as soon as you have added the raw material to your formula, you will have automatic warning. First would be the alerts, and this is what we have discussed before on the ingredients. It will be something you can customize. So now I'm showing the allergens, but could have been any other alerts you want to see, and you could see all the alerts at the same time. So gives a good indicator to the formulator on this column. Second one is about the restrictions. So here we see instantly the compliance of the product. You can again design and restrict if you just want to see for one zone, you want to see Europe, you want to see UK, you can just select for, depending on the product, depending on the brand, the restriction you are interested in. We also have the status, so you can manage your different ingredients. Some of them can have like limited use, some of them can be only samples, so you have the colors to highlight the status of each raw materials. We also have the possibility to ban lists. So again, depending on who is your clients or on your brands or where you want to sell your product, you can ban some inkies, and again, you will have highlight directly at the formulation level. We can have a calculation of a price. Obviously, that is an important parameter in the marketing brief. And so that's what I was saying. At the end of the day, you have one formula, but every alerts are available on the formula itself. So as soon as you develop and you have picked all the different ingredients, you will have a real-time alert with automatic calculation And we will see that you can also obviously extract data from here. But what is important is that you have all the information on one screen and everything is automatic, so you can directly, instantly access information. So still talking about our concern today, what is eco design? Obviously, you could create multiple alerts. We also have a screen that is calculating, and it's just above the formula, the ISO 16128 and the Cosmos, but could be any other labels where you can make calculation for nature in origin. And then we have export, like the carbon footprint that could be also calculated on your formula. So this is, again, here it's a report that we can extract from the formula. And again, it will calculate instantly for your formula. So in that case, the carbon footprint. So that's just one example of all the documentation we could produce, because I guess now you might understand that the aim is to manage as much as possible data on your ingredients, on inkeys, on the plant we are using, on the packaging, and so at the end of the day, on the formula that you are developing. And so the Coptis Lab software will definitely be able to print easily information into one report or into multiple reports. So it could be like just one single ingredient list, but it could also be like a product information file, or it could be an export to a, I don't know, massive tab with your 50 or 100 criteria to calculate your eco score if you have designed a way to calculate it today. So you just have a match and of all the information you need on your product, and instantly we can export all this information into one Excel spreadsheets, and you have all the data about your different products, and you are able to calculate as you wish. As we say today, there is no particular regulation. So regarding the ingredients you are using, where they are coming from, how they are coming to your production site, and then what kind of packaging you are using. So definitely you could export easily in one click all this information regarding your product. So it's a lot of time saved here in top of all the traceability that you are adding and the safety you are adding to the data you manage at the laboratory level. So if we can just resume in a few words, because it's a lot of information I'm sharing right now, but digitalizing the information and having everything on one system not only help the productivity, because for sure you're going to save time, you're going to optimize the way you manage your data, but it will definitely also add on the quality of your information, because you will secure the access of your data, you will add the traceability, and you will improve considerably the communication between the team. You will add to the synergy. So when the sourcing team will add data about the ingredients, then the formulator will be able to access this kind of information instantly. So we have definitely see that for our clients is 30% save time, and I'm sure is going to be even a greater number in the future, because we need to manage more and more information, and it's always moving, always evolving. And so that is why it's so important that you have a place to store and automatize a maximum of this data. So I've talked a lot, but obviously, please do not hesitate to ask questions. I'm sure, and I hope it gives you the will to see more. So that's why I wanted to highlight that we do demonstration online. We will definitely share our contacts at the end of the webinar. You will receive an email that will redirect you to our website where you can ask for a demo so we can be in touch with you. We'll just ask a few details, like just an email and a phone, so we can get in touch with you. And then you can have a customized presentation, then depending on your challenges and what you definitely want to develop as a cosmetic product today. So thank you so much for listening to me. And again, you will receive our contact. Happy to be in touch again to show you the software so you can really see all the modules, because today was just examples and some screenshots. But happy to navigate into the software with you. So do not hesitate. And now we still have some time to answer to the questions. So let's do that. And again, thank you if you need to leave now. Thank you for attending.
Okay, thank you very much, Flora. Right, had some questions come in. First one from Monica Guerrero. Does the software know which ingredients are restricted in each region, or is that something that the user must feed in?
So yeah, indeed, we do have the different options available because you could just use the software and fit in with your own knowledge. If you do your own regulatory watch, we have a screen where you can enter any regulation linked to your substances. But we also have a database that can be plugged into the software, which is called Coptis Reg. And we do have all the restrictions for about 100 countries. And we will have everything about cosmetic regulation. So yeah, that both options are feasible.
Okay, lovely. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, next question. Clementine Maréchaux. I was just wondering, is there any project to make a collaboration between Coptis and some other company proposing tools for calculating LCA? Would it be great to be able to link both?
Yeah, so indeed, that's a good proposal. We actually are studying the possibility and feasibility of linking Coptis to other solutions because, as you know, today the calculation of the eco score or anything linked to a sustainable product, there is no regulation at that point. So there is, for now, it's complicated for Coptis to decide about a calculation and how to decide on a score for a cosmetic product. But we know that some software have already proposed this kind of solution. So definitely that's something in the pipe. That's for sure. What we want to make for sure is the possibility to export data, so then you can apply your own calculation. So it might be via another software, or it can be on your own Excel spreadsheet, for instance. Yeah.
Lovely. Okay, thank you. Okay, so we've also had a question from Shahzeb Khan related to the price. Well, you often get these price questions,
Often.
and it's a bit like how long's a piece of string because it depends on so many factors, how many licensees, how many users, so on and so forth. But
Yeah.
they do ask, is it possible to buy a license of this software for our university?
So we do have a different version for university because we know that many students, they want to be trained on the system as they might use it then in the cosmetic industry. So we do have a university version, I would say. We will come for one training and then the professor would be the next trainer of Coptis. So that's
Mhm.
a discussion we can have with the university so they can contact us as well.
Okay, good. Further question from Dr. Khan. From the University of Bradford, it says here. My question is that can we get the formulation strategies information for all kind of cosmetic products, including semi-solids and powders, and so on?
What do you mean by formulation strategies? Because you can definitely create any kind of project in the software. It's designed for you to create your own product and then to enter all the information you would like a targeted price, where you want to export this kind of product, what is the kind of product you are developing, like the form. And so you can design lots of different information and then you have all this data on your project. Um,
Okay,
yeah,
all
I
right, thank
guess
you.
that's answering.
Yeah, I think it does. Yeah. Okay, so I had a question from oh god, complicated Scandinavian name alert. Jürgen Garda Hildegard. I'm sorry, Jürgen, if I've butchered your name there, but he asks, from where do you get the footprint data? From where do you get the footprint data?
So I'm not too sure about the
Environmental
footprint
footprint data?
data.
Environmental footprint data? I'm not quite sure what Jürgen means, but that's what he
Yeah,
sent
I'm
in.
not even too sure. Do you get the footprint? I'm not too sure what does it mean.
No. Okay.
Yeah,
Fine.
I'm
All right. Well,
sorry.
maybe Jürgen, could you elaborate on what you mean by
Yeah.
your question? And I'll put it back to Flora after. I've had another question in that's asked: is it possible to manage customized information at ingredient level? Can we attach documents such as certificates?
So yeah, definitely. You have in the raw material module lots of different fields on different screens where you can customize the information you will import. So it would be, for instance, the property of your ingredients or the country of origin, the nature, all these all these fields that you can customize and then you can search for. And talking about certificates, we do have a screen for library, so you can attach again any type of document. You can customize any type of documents with the date of the document, and again, all these documents that you have attached are something you can look for and you can export at any time when you are, for instance, developing a new formula and you want to export all the documents of the raw material attached to that formula. So yes.
Okay. Okay, good. Oh, so Jürgen's come back with his quite follow-up. So he
Ah,
meant carbon footprint. Where did you get the
okay.
carbon footprint data?
Okay. Sorry, got it now. So I guess on the slide, it was just an example from our database because we do have data just to show the system and show how it works. But then the data should come directly from your raw material manufacturers. Again, we do have a database for ingredients where raw material manufacturer might share the carbon footprint. So that could be a source of the information. But other than that, you would have the field and you can enter the data that will surely come from your raw material manufacturer.
Okay, thank you. A question from Ramon Subirats. Is the ingredient database up to date? How often is it updated?
Yes, so the database I was mentioning, which is called Coptis Ingredients, it's updated 3 times a year. We are directly linked to the raw material manufacturers. They are actually our partner, and they update data on their raw materials. So up to 3 times a year. So yeah, it's up to date.
Thank you. Okay, another question. Annalisa Bellucci. Is the raw materials database pre-populated? Is it the individual company or is it compiled and kept updated by Coptis? Which regulation does the regulatory part follow, e.g. EU cosmetic regulation for Europe?
Okay, lots of questions here.
Yes,
But
yes.
again, it's always the same kind of answer where you could just have the software on its own and you can populate all the data by yourself. So you just manage your own database with your knowledge on your ingredients, on, as you said, like INCI breakdown, ISO 16128, and the regulation that you might enter as well. And on the other side, we are proposing databases to assist you on accessing data. So Coptis ingredients, we might have on ingredients, INCI breakdown, ISO 16228, and any other information. And for the regulation, then it would be, yeah, we have about 100 countries with cosmetic regulation. So might be Americas, Canada, South America, Europe, Middle East, Asia. So we have a lot, and definitely that's something we can discuss in a personal demonstration.
Okay, very good. Another question come in. Is it possible to restrict usage of a certain ingredient in our formula? Can you restrict usage of a certain ingredient?
Yes, that's what we call actually the blacklist in the system. It's a ban list, so you can define what kind of substances they could be grouped into a family, and then you can restrict the usage of the substance per brand or per line. If you have like in one of your brands, you have, for instance, a baby line, and you want to restrict the usage of certain substances. So in that case, you can ban the usage of these INCI, and you will have alerts at multiple levels. You will have it directly on the formula. You will have it when you print an INCI breakdown, so you can't miss it.
Okay, very good. Another question. Can we include data for packaging and formula on the same screen?
Yes, so that's something I haven't shown in the presentation, but we do have a finished product module, and this module will help to design a finished product. So it will mix packaging plus formula details, and from there you could manage all the information and print final documents with all the relevant information.
Okay, very good. Another question from Monica Guerrero. Can we communicate or transfer data from this software to other software, for example, SAP or Oracle?
Yes, most of our customers, that's what they do because Coptis Lab is, again, R&D system from the marketing brief to the production. And often our customers, they will have a production system known as ERP. And so we are very used of connecting both solutions. So it will go through an export or API that will help to smoothly transfer like a final formula plus operating instruction to your production system. So yes.
Okay, thank you. Another question: how to have a final reporting displaying, or maybe that should be how to have can you have a final report displaying relevant information and alerts for sustainable development?
Yes, definitely. First of all, that would be the formulation screen, because on the formulation screen, you will have all the relevant information, like all the alerts you have set on your ingredients, the blacklisted data, the in-key breakdown of your formula. So you should have all the necessary information. But other than that, you could also export information through the different reports that we propose at Coptis. That could be, as we have seen, calculation of carbon footprint, origin of raw materials, and so on. So we have lots of different options against that you can customize.
Okay, thank you. Another question: do you have as well cloud as well? Do you have cloud as well as on-site software solutions for your software? Do you have
Okay.
cloud solutions? Yeah. Okay. Does that make sense, that question?
Yes, I think I got the technical question here about the installation of the system. So today, Coptis Lab is what we call the heavy client. So that's a software that you install on a server. So it could be hosted on your own server or your own cloud, but we can also propose the infrastructure. It's called IaaS. And so we do propose the cloud in this option.
Okay. Thank you. Another question: have you put or updated some information about the ratio of ingredients for the development of nanocosmetics? Nanocosmetics.
About the ratio of so that might be information that you could have maybe on the ingredients database, because again, what we propose at Coptis is a system to manage any of your data. Then I'm not too sure about the nano cosmetics, but maybe we might have some ingredients that might fit into that category.
Okay.
But
All
we
right.
could
Good.
look deeper. Yeah.
Okay. Understood. Okay. And another question: shouldn't the ingredient database include the carbon footprint? Is it guaranteed?
It's
I
not
think we touched.
guaranteed. It's not guaranteed. I know that the raw material manufacturers, they really start to work hard on the subject, but it's not something we guarantee. But definitely we are working with the raw material manufacturer for them to share maximum data, but we are not guaranteeing this kind of information.
Okay. All right. Well, that comes to the end of the questions. If anyone has any more questions, speak now or forever hold your peace. While you're thinking, I'll just remind you that if you've missed any of the presentation, the video will be emailed to all registrants and be able to view at your own leisure. So it looks like there's no more further questions. So that brings us to the end of today's presentation. Thank you very much, Flora. Thank you very much for a very interesting and insightful presentation.
Thank you.
And
Thank you.
thank you very much. And I'll say goodbye. Goodbye.
Bye, everyone.